This is the Stereo 3D Toolkit version 1.5 tutorial. This will be a two-part tutorial. Part 1 will cover After Effects mode, and Part 2 will cover Cinema 4D. If you need help installing the toolkit, you can watch this video from aescripts.com. To get started, you will need a composition that has 3D layers and a camera. I've prepared this one ahead of time and will make it available for download along with the toolkit. To begin, open the Stereo 3D Toolkit UI panel. The panel can be docked anywhere in your After Effects interface. Make sure your mode is set to After Effects and press New. This will bring up the menu to begin a new stereo composition in After Effects mode. At the top is a list of available compositions in your project. Below that is a list of cameras within the selected composition. With your composition and camera selected, press OK to build your stereoscopic workflow. You now have 3 compositions instead of 1. At the top is your left channel composition. This is where you should do all of your animation and compositing work. Below that is the right channel composition. This will be automatically updated by the toolkit, so there's no need to edit it manually. At the bottom is the Master Stereo 3D composition. This has all of your stereoscopic controls, your master camera, as well as your 3D preview. Let's take a look at the 3D preview inside of our Master Stereo 3D composition. As you can see, this composition works fairly well with the default settings. The yellow square in the middle of the screen is the zero parallax locator. We will go over its function in just a moment. Let's take a closer look at the layers inside of our Master Stereo 3D composition. At the top is 3D Preview. This has the 3D glasses effect and is automatically updated by the toolkit. The only time you would want to edit this is if you have a display method that differs from red and blue anaglyph. For instance, a polarized screen or an active shutter system. The S3D controls layer has all of the stereoscopic controls for your scene. Although there are a lot, the top 3 are the only ones you will use in most situations. Camera 1 S3D is the master camera for the scene. Any changes made to its properties or animation will be automatically applied to the left and right channel by the toolkit. This is also the same camera we selected earlier in the menu when we built our workflow. The zero parallax layer is a visual guide representing where the viewing screen will be when you watch your scene in stereoscopic 3D. We will cover it in more detail in just a moment. The bottom 4 layers are the left and right camera and the left and right channel compositions. All 4 of these layers are controlled by the toolkit, so there's no need to edit them manually. Let's take a closer look at our S3D controls layer. The top control is interaxial distance. This controls the separation of the left and right cameras. The higher this value is, the farther apart they will be, and the stronger the stereoscopic effect will appear to be. Zero parallax controls where the viewing screen will be in relation to the layers in your scene. By adjusting this value, you can move it closer to or farther away from your camera. Doing this enables you to control which layers appear to pop out of the viewing screen and which ones sink into it. Display Zero Parallax turns on and off the visibility of the zero parallax locator. I will cover the rest of the controls later, as they are mostly used for Cinema 4D mode and final output. Let's go into the left channel and take a closer look at how the zero parallax locator works. The logo is here. It is made out of 3D text layers that have been offset to create this extrusion effect. The zero parallax locator is here, intersecting with the logo. This means the logo will appear to be level with the viewing screen when we watch it in Stereo 3D. Any layers that are in front of the zero parallax locator will appear to pop out of the screen. This is called negative parallax. Any layers that are behind the zero parallax locator will appear to sink into the screen. This is called positive parallax. We can confirm this is true by going into the Master Stereo 3D composition. By looking at this preview, you can see that the streaks in the foreground are popping out of the screen. The logo is sitting level with the screen. The streaks behind the logo and the background are sinking into the screen. The last thing we will look at is the update function. Let's go back into our left composition and make some changes. I'm going to clean up the timeline by grouping the logo layers into a new pre-composition. The logo has jumped out of position. This is because it is made out of 3D layers, but the new pre-composition does not have a camera. Looking at the preview in the Master S3D composition, you can see that the left and right channels no longer match. The easiest way to fix this is by enabling collapse transformations. Going back to the master S3D composition, you can see that the preview looks correct again. However, there is still a problem behind the scenes. If we open the flowchart, you can see that the new pre-composition is only linked to the left channel. This is easily fixed with the Stereo 3D Toolkit. Make sure your mode is set to After Effects and press Update. This will rebuild your right channel and link it to the pre-composition. Setting a pre-composition to continually rasterize will work in many situations. However, if you are using an effect like Particular that utilizes a camera in 3D space, it will not work. The Stereo 3D Toolkit can overcome this limitation. Inside of this composition, I'm using two instances of Particular, one in the foreground and one in the background. However, they share a set of emitters. Before I pre-compose the foreground, I'm going to duplicate the emitters so that the background layer has its own set. Now I'm going to create a pre-composition of the foreground Particular layer and its emitters. The foreground layer of Particular has disappeared. This is because the new pre-composition does not have a camera, but the effect requires one to properly draw in 3D space. We can fix this with the Stereo 3D Toolkit by adding the suffix underscore, capital L, capital F to the name of the pre-composition. By doing this, you let the Stereo 3D Toolkit know that you wish to turn this pre-composition into a stereo pair. When you press Update, it will automatically add a left camera and a zero parallax locator. It will also generate a right channel version with a right camera and a zero parallax locator as well. By opening the flowchart, you can see the new left and right channel pre-compositions are at the proper place in the hierarchy. By going into these new pre-compositions, you can see that the zero parallax locator and cameras are linked to the master S3D system. Any changes made upstream will affect all pre-compositions in the chain.